Alright, so we're going to be talking about scatter plots today. Are y'all familiar with scatter plots? First, okay. Alright. Alright, so we have a few vocabulary. The first vocabulary is bivariate data. Bivariate data. Data with two variables. And if we're talking about a graph, what do you think your two variables are? Yeah, you got it. Your x and y, right? Or pairs of numerical observations. Okay, and then the scatter plot shows the relationship between bivariate data graphed as ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. Okay, and you can see 3 examples right here. Looks like dots everywhere. All right, trend line. We're going to talk more about trend line on Monday. A trend line of best fit is a line that is very close to most of the data points. So if you look at here, there's not one straight line, right? Okay, so the trend line is a straight line that is a line that's very close to most of your data points, okay? All right, and these are the 3 different types of association, or sometimes you'll hear the word correlation. So correlation or association mean the same thing, okay? And so again, when we talked about linear relationships and the direction the points are going or the line is going, right, we read a graph from left to right. So if we look at our first graph right here, okay, what are your points if we're reading from left to right? What direction are your points going?
Upward.
Yeah, they're going up. And then for slope, we said that was what? What kind of slope? Positive. So what kind of association does this have? It has a positive association or a positive correlation. Okay, if you notice in our second scatter plot, our points are going down. So that's going to be a negative association, or you'll hear negative correlation. Okay? And then the last one, when there's like points graphed everywhere, okay, that means there is no association or no correlation. Okay? So if we notice right here, okay, we have a positive correlation, right? Our points are going in an upward direction, right? And it's also linear because we could draw a trend line, right? Line of best fit somewhere right there, right? Do you agree? However, this is also a positive correlation, but it's non-linear. Do you see the difference? Do you see kind of how it curves up and then goes up? Even though it's positive, it's non-linear. Are we good with that? Okay, and then over here, it looks like a positive correlation, right? But then we also kind of have an outlier out there. And then notice we have a whole bunch of points together. That's just a cluster or a collection of points that are close together, okay? And usually outlier and clusters, you may see them, but we won't talk about too much about them. All right, it looks like we have no, yes, and this is outlier. Y'all are familiar with outliers, right? With what other data, right? It would mean median mode, right? Or a dot plot, it could be an outlier. All right, and an outlier is a value that lies outside the rest of the points, right? It's kind of off on its own. All right, so let's kind of jump into it here. So a scatter plot shows a relationship between the data set with 2 variables graphed as ordered pairs. The pattern of the data point determines the association between the 2 sets of data. Okay? And so when they're talking about 2 sets of data, if you look at the graph and you read what the X and Y label represents, so right here we have miles driven, and then we have gallons of gas used. Okay? And so data points that go generally upward, we said would show a positive association. data points that go down have a negative association, and then data points with no clear pattern, just kind of dots randomly, okay? There is no association, okay? So we're going to explain whether the scatter plot of this data shows a positive, negative, or no association. Then we're going to interpret the scatter plot, okay? What is it telling us? So first of all, what kind of correlation or association is this? Huh? You got it. It does have a positive association. Because we see miles driven and gallons of gas used. So how can we interpret this graph? What is it telling us? So if we see miles driven, we see that it's, what happens as we drive more miles? Huh? Perfect. Good. So, as the number of miles driven increases, right? Because we see it increasing on our graph, right? As it increases, the amount of gas used, what happens? Increases as well. Increases. You get that? Alright, so number 2, we're going to construct a scatter plot. I think in your homework you have to construct a view. We won't actually test you or quiz you on that. So we're going to construct a scatter plot of the number of minutes a candle burns and a candle's height. And then we're going to describe that association and then interpret what that means. So let's see if we can just kind of do a quick little sketch here. That'll represent our X and our Y value. So if we have minutes burned and the height of the candle, which one is our X and our Y value? Say that again? Yeah, this is your X value, and this is your Y value, right? Are we good? Yeah. All right. Because the height of the candle depends on how long it's going to burn, right? All right. So we're looking at our X, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Let's just go ahead and kind of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And label that there. That's small. Get this sorted. All right, and X represents what? Minutes burned. And then our Y value is the height of the candle, and it goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Interesting. So let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to label that height of candle. All right, so our first ordered pair is what? In our table. Good. The height of our candle is 6, 10. So in 10 minutes, the height of the candle is 6 inches. That's inches. All right. And then in 20 minutes, it's 5. In 30 minutes, it's 4. 40 minutes, 3, and at 2 minutes, I'm sorry, at 50 minutes, it's 2 inches in height. There we go. All right, how could you describe that association? Negative. It does have a negative correlation. Good. And then how can we interpret What can we say? Good, so the longer the candle burns, the height decreases? I guess what I'm saying. As the number of minutes increase, candle height decreases. And I used arrows there, I didn't have enough space. Looking at number 1 and number 2 scatter plot, are they linear or non-linear? They're both linear. Good. All right, so with your table, I want you to complete numbers 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to tell me, is it positive, negative, and I want you to interpret the each scatter plot. All right, number 1, what did y'all get? Good. Positive, is it linear?
Yes.
I would say yeah, there's not enough points. Yeah. Okay, and then would you interpret the scrap?
Good.
You got it. As age increases, height increases. And eventually it would what? Plateau? Straight line, we're not gonna very much. Alright, number 2. What'd y'all get? Good, it is negative. And then how did y'all interpret this one?
Shower increase, and then hot water decreases.
Yeah, gotta be quick, right? Okay. So as shower time increases, hot water remaining will decrease. Number 3. You're right, no association, no correlation. Did y'all interpret this? Did y'all write anything or just leave it as is?
If you tried to connect the dots, it would probably turn into something that's like this.
You start with 1 and 2. Okay. Yeah, there's no association. So if you did write something, you could write during the week. It doesn't. I mean, there's just no correlation, right? Question mark. Yeah. None. No correlation. Good. Okay, your homework is included. It is the next page, and it goes on to the back. Okay.